Welcome to the Homeschool Mama Support Group. I'm Teresa Wiedrick. I'm the Certified Life Coach, the graduated Homeschool Mama 4 and Homeschool Mentor here in the Facebook group, the Homeschool Mama Support Group. You can also find the paid Patreon group, Homeschool Mama Support Group. And every day you'll get coaching and encouragement and inspiration. You'll get coaching in your back pocket. And every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can join me in a conversation, a support group conversation, or this week we have a writer's room. So if you're curious about establishing a writing practice, a journaling practice, maybe you're already a writer and you'd love to have some connection or feedback on your writing, maybe you're just interested in what it would be like to discover how to build that journaling practice every morning, or if it's even possible in your specific scenario, then you're welcome to join me. I'll drop the link for the Patreon group down below if anyone asks me for it. So if I haven't met you, it's lovely to meet you and welcome to the group. My goal in this group is to do something different out of the box, because that's what I do. I encourage homeschool moms to live outside the box, even the conventional homeschooled box. One of the reasons why I'm doing the D-School group coaching program starting next week is this reason, that I think that we typically as homeschool parents jump out of the homeschool or the traditional schooled world into the homeschool world, and then we move into traditional homeschooling, which is fine if it's working for you and if it's working for your child, but it isn't always. And this is most definitely the season where we notice when things aren't working for us. I know it as the slump season. And in this slump season, I think we have an opportunity to reconsider how we're doing our homeschool lives, why we're doing them the way we're doing them. And I think we can build in more confidence as we examine the things that aren't working for us. So if you're curious about D-School group coaching, let me know. I'll get you a booking link to have a conversation with me to learn if this is the right thing for you. It's an 8-week group that will start next week. It requires a little dedication on your part, but really it's going to be a perfect, I think, adjunct to a season that is kind of slow and slumpy and unmotivated. Can I hear an amen? So if that's you, let me know. Also, if you're interested in the D-School Your Homeschool Challenge, the 5-day D-School Challenge, it's still available until next week. So let me know and I will grab you the link for that. So here I am in the Kootenay Mountains, British Columbia, Canada, and I'm a graduated homeschool mom of 4. In the last 4 years, officially began coaching homeschool moms. My goal is to walk alongside you, to support you in this homeschool mom journey, and to help you shed what's not working in your homeschool and mom life so you can show up authentically, confidently, and purposefully. That's my goal. So if you are interested in learning more about what kind of coaching opportunities I have, or if you're looking for someone to help clarify the challenges you do have, or looking for a cheerleader, looking for someone who's a challenger and can help you figure out whatever the problem is that you're challenged by, and a path or a plan to make that growth challenge become something that's maybe a strength or a charm on a charm bracelet, a benefit, a good thing that actually you learned, then definitely connect with me. There is a paid group, this Homeschool Mama Support Group, that this week will be offering both a writer's room for the Homeschool Mama group, and if you happen to also be building a business or looking to create a business to get it off the ground, I offer a mastermind once a month. And you can also learn more about that. If you let me know, I'll grab you the link. This morning, I released a podcast episode about self-care, the connection between self-care and de-schooling, because you might be wondering why someone my book is called Homeschool Mama Self-Care, Nurturing the Nurturer. My podcast is titled Homeschool Self-Care. A lot of the things that I have online, like my Instagram account, is Homeschool Mama Self-Care, and all those things point towards self-care. So why am I talking about de-schooling if I'm also talking about self-care? And here's the answer in a nutshell, but I go into depth as to why on the podcast this morning. The reason in a nutshell is mindset, about how you want to show up in your life, how you want to encourage your kids to show up in their lives, and how you're really approaching your homeschool and how it's influencing them in their choice their purposeful life choices. So if you want to learn more about that, you can check the podcast. It's on all the Apple, Spotify, all the podcast players. So also the D-School Challenge. This is going to be the last week for the D-School Challenge. So let me know if you're interested in that. Every week for the first year homeschoolers and for those that are new to homeschooling or just in the research stage of homeschooling, you're welcome to join me for a conversation. There's a booking link for that as well. It is a free conversation to just ask all the questions. Where do I find curriculum? What resources should I use? What's the right routine? All the questions, that are commonly asked in the first year. I'm ready for you. So definitely let me know, and I'd be glad to get you the link so we could join in a conversation this week. Now, I want to specifically welcome new members to our group this week. Excited to share that Barbara has joined our group. She's a fourth-year homeschool mom, and she has a child in each school, so elementary, middle, and high school. Wow. So you've got a real exposure to all sorts of experiences this year. You were asking about more confidence in teaching high school for college-bound kids and working on consistency. I would love to hear the details of what it is that you're looking for in confidence. I know from my experience that teaching high school is almost like an oxymoron. I mean, there are some things that you can actually assist your high school level age child to learn. You can actually engage directly in certain teaching elements, but also there's a lot of facilitating going on in the high school level or the high school years, especially when you hone into who is your child, how do they like to learn, what's their end goal after their high school education, what's their motivation like, what's their intrinsic motivation like, how are they seeing their next decade or their next step in their life. Those are questions to ask, to get really curious about, because I've learned that the way that we approach our earlier homeschool years, most of us anyways, unless you're radical unschoolers, we tend toward allowing them even more freedom and independence to engage in their high school years. So I'd be curious to learn more about how I can help you move into that confidence in engaging the high school level years. And of course, I have my own stories with my own kids, so I'm happy to share those as well. Suzanne, welcome. You're the mom of two boys, 14 and 16, that you've homeschooled from the beginning. And you're looking to get ideas how to deal with your 16-year-old, and you shared a little bit about that. And I invite you to have a conversation with me directly. Your story very similar to one that I've recently been working with in the last year, 15-year-old girl though, and sounds very similar, and it's not unusual to many people's experiences. If you want to actually work through that that challenge, then connect with me in coaching, because there is a way that we can go through this to help you get clear on what it is that you're challenged by, and also to create a plan to address that specific challenge. So ask me for a booking link if you're interested in learning more. Lisa, welcome. You said you've been homeschooling your kids from the beginning, 9 years ago, when your oldest was beginning kindergarten. You're looking to have more balance between school, self-care, and social time. You know, between me and you, if you haven't heard me say this already, I'm someone that doesn't believe in balance. I mean, in the scientific world, obviously it's a thing. In the mom world, not so much. It is, I believe, really learning how to be present to what you're doing right now so you don't feel scattered. And that you feel satisfied in what you're doing in the present moment. But it's also learning how to time block the most important things, include the things that matter, exclude the things that don't, and reinforce or tell yourself over and over and over that you can't do all the things. And you can only be where you are right now. So decide how you're actually putting together all the different elements of your life, aka time block. Actually determine that you only have 24 hours in the day. Probably 8 of those hours you need to be sleeping. There's a whole bunch of hours that you need to be feeding, eating, or washing the dishes, or something like that. And possibly driving your kids to various places. All the extracurricular activities that you're doing. Maybe you're prescribed homeschool time. If you're doing formal academics, there's so much of your days are filled that then you decide, okay, are you going to assign yourself the leftover seconds, minutes, or possibly an hour in the week to yourself? Or are you going to say, no, actually, I'm not going to frame my life that way. I'm going to decide at what time of day I'm going to do certain activities, what time of day I'm not, and then decide to fill in all the most important things. Like you said, actually, you said social time, self-care, the homeschool, probably sweeping, probably washing something, probably the boring stuff, whatever is important to you. If you want to learn more about time blocking and learning how to do that, that would be a perfect workshop in the Homeschool Mama Support Group, which is the Patreon group. And once a month, I create customized workshops for homeschool moms, whoever's there and whoever says, I'm going to show up, and this is a really valuable workshop that I'd like to have, then I will make sure to cover those discussion points. So welcome. And Danielle, welcome too. I'm going to see you in the Homeschool Mom Room on Friday. I'm looking forward to actually having a conversation with you. You're a second generation homeschooler. Always intrigued about your story. We have a few different homeschool moms that are second generation homeschoolers. You are, let's see, what shall I share? Yes, you're a mom to many beautiful souls on earth, 6 babies on earth. Wow, good for you. And 4 beautiful souls in heaven, married to your best friend. Well, I am so looking forward to connecting with you and learning from you more. I have this cool privilege of being on social media, and I do it obviously so often that when I am having conversations in the DMs with people, I just get a really strong sense of how I'm going to connect with people. And I'm pretty confident we're already connected, and we are, as Anne of Green Gables says, kindred spirits. So I'm looking forward to meeting you officially. And welcome to Amy. I'm so glad you're here. You said you've been homeschooling for 9 years. You have a junior, a 7th grader, and a 1st grader, and you're interested in high school topics. In the Instagram account that I have on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so in 9 minutes, I have a conversation with a different homeschool support person in the Instagram world every month, or actually every week on Tuesdays. And once a month, my intention, the first Tuesday of the month, my intention is to have conversation with homeschool support people about high school topics, high school support conversations, because I can see that especially on Instagram there isn't as much conversation about high school, and I know that there's a broad approach to how to address homeschool high school or high school age kids, all the things, and there isn't that much conversation about it. So my intention is to bring more conversation over there. But again, if you want to get specific and ask me specific ideas about what you'd actually want to know, because it's like a huge topic. It's like saying, hey, can you tell me about kids? Like high school is really big. Then I would ask you to put a specific question or a specific concern down below, and I'm happy to create a workshop around that. Also, in our group, we have the Homeschool High School podcast host, Vicki Tillman, and so you definitely want to head over to her podcast because they cover, everything. So that's also a valuable resource there. And of course, I'm eager to have conversations with homeschool moms about high school as well. I've done it myself. I've unschooled one of my kiddos through high school, and or I allowed for unschooling with one of my kiddos, and I can actually help you understand how you can go about both creating credits and creating a portfolio, enabling interviews with the college folk. If your goal is post-secondary school, actually how to approach college, entrance, and also the next steps in their lives. I've got 3 kids in that phase of life presently. You're welcome to connect with me as well. So I want to say a special welcome to all of you new folk, and to everyone that is watching. You are most sincerely invited to connect with me, whether that is in a life coach conversation to learn more about coaching, or also in the Homeschool Mom Patreon support group. I hope all of you have a lovely week, and we'll talk to you soon.